All right, man. I ain't gonna stall no more. It is Brian Flores went out and was like, "Oh, I didn't get the job, but I didn't even interview." And so, just to catch everybody up, Brian Flores got fired as the Miami Dolphins head coach for having a winning season. He then was set up for an interview back to back. Exactly. Was set up for an interview for the New York Football Giants. He proceeds to get a text message from Bill Belichick. Now, I'm going to throw my conspiracy in there before I even finish. I feel like Bill Belichick is a very intelligent, attention to detail dude. Brian Flores is one of his guys. Brian Dable are one of his guys. He is not necessarily a fan of the New York Giants. I feel like, and I could be wrong, I feel like Bill Belichick was like, "Oh, you just gonna do my dog dirty? All right, let me send this little text message out." He picked up the phone and called. Send a text message. He literally sent a trail that you can follow. But okay. So I digress. Bill sends the text message, said, "Congratulations on the coach of being the New York Football Giants coach." And my understanding was that Brian Flores had not interviewed for the job. But he was now well aware that Dable was going to be the head coach. And he went on the interview anyway. He then proceeds, come out of everything, and file a lawsuit that no other coaches filed, saying the NFL is racist. It is a plantation mentality, which I wish he wouldn't have added that to that lawsuit, but fine. And then gave receipts on the bad.
Why do you wish he wouldn't have added that?
I wish he wouldn't add that because it's not, and I shouldn't say he because his attorneys added that. I wish he wouldn't have added that because that is, we as Black people know that as soon as white people get sensitive about racism, the first thing they want to say is, "Well, that wasn't me." And so they think because that was me, they're not part of the problem. And to be clear, if you are not cleaning up the problem, you are part of the problem. My hands is up, I ain't had nothing to do with it, is not enough.
But my whole thing with it is, at this point, we shouldn't be caring about nobody else and how they feelings or feel about something we just identifying as what it is. Like the NFL has always been a meat market where they walk you through at the NFL combines like a meat show. You get tested for your ability and you get tested for your smarts. And your future in that league is determined by how strong, how fast, and how smart you are. It's going to depend on how much you get paid. So it is a plantation mentality. Like I don't see nothing wrong with it.
You telling me the owner of what's that? The owner of the Seahawks, when he saw DK Metcalf, he didn't say, "I want that strong nigga right there.
I want that buck.
I want that one right there." They drafted DK Metcalf because he passed the eye test.
I would agree with that.
How tall is Metcalf? 6'4"?
He's 6'3", 230 pounds with not an ounce of body fat on.
And runs a 4.3.
And was not productive in college. Let's make this clear. He was not the best receiver on his team.
He was not. But he passed the eye test.
Yeah. I'll agree with that.
He passed the physical attributes needed to play in the NFL. Those are Terrell Owens sizes right there. That's Terrell Owens. In the
Terrell Owens and Fester.
So we looking at and let's not overlook. There are his allegations, if true, and full disclosure, I built a betting app that is waiting on Florida to work out their legal issues before betting. So make sure I put that full disclosure. I don't want nobody in my inbox. Build a betting app. So I'm not just taking shots at this dude. But legally, if I owned a team and I had a betting app, there's no way in hell I would be having discussions with my head coach about losing games. No, we're not going to do that. Fixing games.
You better ask Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban got fined $600,000.
Ask Pete Rose. He ain't in the Hall of Fame now.
Pete Rose banned.
And just so
out of sport.
Just so we're clear, incentivizing your coach to lose games, whether it's for draft picks, whether it's to clear contracts, that is a direct violation of the integrity of the game, and that is fixing a game. So let's not mince no words about it.
It's immoral.
It's not a state crime, it's a federal crime.
It is.
So
not only is it illegal, but it is highly immoral and very frowned upon.
And let me get a disclaimer. We at Fat Mouth Sports do not assume anyone's guilt in this entire conversation and or argument. However, if true, it will be very disconcerting that a member of the NFL ownership groups would be fixing games and still have his franchise. This is very different than what's going on in Washington. Very, very different. This is about the integrity of the game, not the itchy, scratchy, creepy dude. This is the integrity of the game. But Black coach has got a second look other than Hugh Jackson. And the only reason, and this is my contention, and I don't care that everybody wants to be a fan of Hugh Jackson because he wants to come out with these receipts that he did it the right way and went to the NFL. First off, if you're the head coach of an NFL franchise, and as you said on ESPN, you were doing your job the way you did because you were responsible for the coaches on your coaching staff, and then you come out and say that you were made aware you were getting bonuses because you were incentivized to lose. Get off of this train. It's not for you.
Well, he went and he reported it to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you see it wrong, you gotta see something, say something. He did that. But the Miami coach who got the sham interviews, he didn't get a realistic look, but he got a callback. And you can't sit here and tell me that there aren't NFL teams that are in need of a player's coach, because that's exactly what he was.
This brings back to my point of there's a pecking order when it comes to Black coaches in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
For you to already be in the coaching position and then to lose that position, that puts you at the back of the line. That's why they ain't getting these callbacks. Is because they're not the next Black coach up, because now it's okay, well, we got him out the way. Now we got to move on to this guy and so forth. That's why they don't get those callbacks. You have to be an exceptional, Tony Dungy, for instance. He left Tampa Bay and went to
Indy,
right? He's one of the few.
Yeah. You got
Did Dennis Green do it? Vikings and Cardinals.
Dennis Green did to the Cardinals. What the hell is that damn? I can't think of his name.
Herm Edwards.
Nah.
Well, he only coached.
Yeah. And then went in the booth. Lovey
Smith.
Yeah. Lovey,
So,
after losing to Tony, I was in Miami for that Super Bowl. And then Lovey got probably another 2 years and then got shuffled to, where did he go? Miami or something? Damn where? He went somewhere after Chicago.
He got a bad deal. He had a raw deal. They made him keep Jay Cutler, and that's the worst thing that could happen to a coach. Is to be forced.
Well, you look at how many black coaches that became head coaches because of Tony Dungy. Yeah. He ushered in the black coach. So I don't know. I think the NFL has a serious problem on their hands.
So,
and Troy gave the disclaimer talking about we're not saying that he's guilty. Oh yeah, they did something. Yeah, don't nobody risk it all to be on the island if you just making something up. Ain't nobody risking it all. Your coach's future. Yeah. Oh my God, and they're going to be investigated by the FBI because they federal crimes.
So the NFL investigators are former FBI and CIA agents. They are probably the third most thorough investigative organization in the United States. The NFL came out and said, and they did it with talking out both sides of their mouth. We are committed to diversity and all these claims are baseless. And then out the other side of their mouth said, these claims will be investigated. Okay. So if the claims are baseless, what are you investigating?
You have to investigate. You have to say you are, even if you don't.
Because if we take all these facts from Jackson and Flores to be true, which I think at least 90% of it is true, at least, then we have to know that it's not even an assumption. We have to know for a fact that NFL, and Houston is an excellent example of this, will take a black coach, put him in an untenable situation, and then when it fails, use him as the fall guy to get the white guy in and be like, hey, let's go. Or there are organizations, and no, I'm going to say it. The New York Jets had a wonderful minority hiring. That wasn't the minority that we are fighting for. And I'm sure he's probably an excellent human being, probably had some excellent work previously. However, you cannot come to a league that is 70% black and then hire this coach as your minority hire and be like, that should be good enough. It is not. We don't even talk about him when we talk about minority coaches because we say of the 32 teams, there's only one black coach. The NFL talks at us. There's an organization called a Fritz Pollard organization. It is this organization's job to present the NFL. Woody Dixon Jr., chairman of the board there, it's his job to say, hey, here are some coaches you guys should take a look at for your NFL hiring. But first off, black people are not monolithic. They do not know who all the rising coaches are. They are an entity that the NFL has thrown money at, Malcolm Jenkins, and said, hey, we are trying to do something to fix the problem. That's not how you fix it. You can't throw money at it. What you have to do is you have to open up your membership like the Masters, because one time before, we didn't like the Masters. We couldn't stand the Masters. They didn't want black people. They didn't want women. Now they want women and black people. And now the Masters is all the rage every year. kind of the same thing, NFL. When you invite us into y'all special group, that's when it'll change because you hire people who you are familiar with. And me, John Elway, the Ross guy, we don't have nothing in common. Y'all ain't gonna ever hire me for nothing because we ain't got nothing in common. But me and Marlo, we got something in common. Me and TP, we got something in common. There is a networking that happens that makes stuff happen. And so these are the things that makes change. And this whole blowing smoke up my ass telling me that, you know, I'm a balloon is some bullshit. It's just straight bullshit. I can't, and maybe I'm getting old and honorary. Maybe that's it. Maybe I was sold a bill of goods. I don't know.
Here's the thing. My take is the NFL ain't gonna ever change until the owners of these minority African American businesses, because that's what it is. It's a business. Start looking like the people that the employees. Like until this exclusive club has some kind of hue in it, it's gonna be the same. And like that, you can't tell me that with all of these people who, like, there's some billionaires out there right now that could throw some money at an NFL team, like, but they don't let them in. They don't let them in the door, and it's sad but true.
There has been,
and until that change, it's going to be a problem.
I have to sit up for this one. I have to sit up for this. I'm about to dig deep.
Uh-oh. All right, TP.
we got to dig deep on this because as an organization, you cannot tell an organization that they must hire this person because that they are a minority. That's parts of being an owner. You can hire who you want to hire. So until we have more diversity within the owners as a whole, you're not going to see as many African American coaches being hired because that's not their guy. They want to hire someone that looks like them, who has the same ideals as them. And if they don't, and it doesn't fit their narrative, then they're not going to look to that as their hire. Also, if they don't feel like the people or African Americans that are available are good enough to get them, let's say you got a white coach and a black coach and they're on the same level as an owner, you probably feel safer picking the white coach, right? That's how they look at it. But the whole demographic is going to have to change, and until it does, we're not going to see as many. And again, like what I was saying, we got the Rooney Rule, affirmative action, we have all that, but that still isn't enough to force an organization to hire somebody because they are a minority. Coaches just gonna have to be better.
I think this is different though, because the Rooney Rule came into effect from the threat of a lawsuit.
Right.
This is actually a lawsuit now. Like they said, oh, okay, let me call the dogs off. We'll put this rule in place that says you have to interview an African American coach or a coach of color before you make your selection for a head coach. It's supposed to have been in place. Teams don't go by it. Don't have to. They're okay. Yeah, the players' union. Well, y'all gonna be mad at us. What's the repercussions for violating the rule? Like they do it all the time. But this, if there is any fire to this smoke, it's gonna check this on the axis.
Heads are gonna roll, and not only are these allegations are about racism, but it's also about fixing games. Oh man, this would be one of the biggest breaks in sports history that we probably would even know. If this comes out to be true, it is gonna put a very, very bad look on the NFL, and it's gonna be bad.
They're gonna lose a large part of a demographic.
And you know what's gonna happen. We know what's gonna happen, right? Misery loves company. If you was doing it with me, guess what? I'm calling you out too.
On the way out the door, just like CNN.
I'm telling you, heads are gonna roll. If these allegations come to be true, there are gonna be a lot of people that get burned at the stake.
You see what Hugh Jackson said?
Save them all over.
You see what Hugh Jackson said?
So
Hugh Jackson was like, "Oh no, they did it over here too."
So, you know what? White people. I'm talking to you. I'm talking directly to you. Y'all need to understand a few things. Brian Flores said he was humiliated when he found this out, and he still went to the interview. Do y'all know 90% of the civil rights marches started because of humiliation? Because not feeling like I am a man and or woman. It was a woman who worked all day. All she wanted to do was sit her ass down on the bus, and she was humiliated. And we had a civil rights march. You got a black man in 2022 went to an interview, was humiliated, and all your dirty little secrets are about to come out because this is going to deposition. And you know who rooting over there in the corner? John Gruden. John Gruden can't wait for this to go to deposition.
He got fired over emails.
He can't wait.
Ooh.
Because if it goes to deposition,
he already said he was suing the Raiders. He was suing the NFL too.
Y'all understand? This ain't going away. When people get humiliated and say, "I'm done. I've had enough."
I've had enough with the NFL pretending like they care about the black people when they don't. Oh, we gonna fire him because he used some racial undertones, but yeah, we not hiring no black coaches. Get the fuck out of here.